with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. On this Shabbat follows very closely from a particular day in our calendar that we commemorate, the 9th of Av. The 9th of Av is the day that we commemorate the destruction of the first temple in Jerusalem, the second temple in Jerusalem, and a whole myriad of tragic events that we experienced throughout Jewish history. And this Shabbat, we are going to still have that sense of joy and embrace that is part of Shabbat, but we're going to weave in a thread that recognizes that we are at this season where we are in a moment of reflection, a moment when our actions as a people can affect whether we are successful as a people or whether we experience destruction. And we have succeeded for 2,000 years. We will be here for thousands more, but we will do so because of our willingness to commit to one another and to remember things that have happened to us in the past. So we are going to feel a sense of both joy and of melancholy at this service as we reach out and embrace the history that has come before us and create the history that comes after us. So what we first want to do is, even as we think about some of the sadness of the past, we want to embrace each other today as we say to each other, Shalom Aleichem, peace be to you, welcome be to each one of you. So we just sang Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to all of you. And I'm so glad that we can welcome you here from Temple, where I am in my office, and Cantor is welcoming us from the sanctuary itself. It is so good to see him back there. We'll be switching off who's back there from week to week, but it is always good to know that this special place of us is being used and that we can all be there, if only virtually, that we can be there together. It's time for us to create our Shabbat with our candles, in a way, our menorah that is in our sanctuary. We'll be saying more about not just these candles, our Shabbat candles, but a menorah that we had in another ancient temple. But for now, I'd like to ask you to join us in the singing of our candles. If you have candles there, go ahead and light them so that you can partake with us as we create Shabbat together. It is my pleasure to call forward two young women from their homes, but closely held in our hearts, Grace Keats and Camille Resnick, who will be leading us in our Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzevanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinkilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah Lemikraye Kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim
Kivanu veharta ve'otanu kirdashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodsheha behava uvratzon hin haltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
And now that we have welcomed Shabbat, created Shabbat with our candles, we have sanctified Shabbat, talked about its importance and uniqueness through our Kiddush, it's time for us to greet the Shabbat by greeting one another and by greeting the Shabbat bride. This melody, which weaves together both the joy of greeting Shabbat and a lilt to it that I think captures this moment in our calendar. So please join us in welcoming Shabbat.
Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferet v'li tekilah lecha dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat mekabela lecha dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesocha sof maaseh v'machshavat techila lecha dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat mekabela lecha dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat mekabela hitoreri ki va'orech koli ori כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. או בואי חלה, או בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We cannot undo what has been done to us, nor what we have done to others. For time's arrow flies in one direction only. So let peace come to the rubble of history in which we stand. Let peace come to the hill on which the temple used to sit. Let peace come to our souls, surrounded by the ghosts of friends, of family, of lovers, and ancestors. Let peace come to the ghosts of the Afghans and the Koreans, North and South, of Irish, Protestant, and Catholic, of Cherokee, of Romans, of Palestinians, and of Israelis. Let the rubble grow no higher. Let peace come. Baruch atah Adonai, shemachazir onato lidrof shalom. Blessed are you, compassionate one, who reminds us to seek peace. We turn towards prayers of love as we turn towards this prayer that leads us into the Shema, this prayer that talks of our love for God, God's love for us, and God's teaching us the Torah, our tools for peace.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשופרנו ובקולנו נשיח בחוקיך, ותשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו, ואורך אורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה.
We now join together in our prayer that celebrates the oneness of God, the oneness of our relationship with God, the oneness of our people.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל, לעולם ועד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
It's my pleasure to call up Camille Resnick to lead us in the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'vetecha uvlektecha v'aderek Ukshof beha uvkumeha, ukshartam leod al yodeha, vehayu litotafot beineneha, uktavtam al mizuzo beteha, uvi shareha, laman tiskeru, vesitem et kol mitzvotai, v'etzim kedoshim Elohim, ani Adonai Elohim, Asher hotzi et hiatem ma'eretz Mitzrayim la'ot le'Elohim Elohim ani Adonai Elohim.
We now join together as we sing our prayer of redemption, imagining what life would be like on the shores of the Red Sea as we've been freed from the captivity of Egypt. We also dream about being freed from the captivity of our own small and narrow lives, from the things that hold us back, from the things that bind us to our actions, our behaviors, our beliefs that make life difficult for us. For all of these things, we sing of the possibility of freedom. We should be thankful for the freedoms that we have in our lives, the freedoms that we may tend to take for granted. But I think it's also okay for us to also think of the things that we may not be thankful for. I'm not thankful for stings and slights which we bear, not thankful for the small pettiness embroidered in our character. I'm not thankful or grateful, dear God, for the hurts that plague us. I cannot thank you for the ways, large and small, that we scar our neighbors' hearts, coax tears from angry eyes, wound those whom we love, shame and hurt one another. But my God, my rock, I am grateful that you help us to see, so that we can heal, soothe sorrows, and ease pain. Raise those who are bowed down. We are thankful for blessings, O God, but also for the gift of giving blessing. We now sing a little bit of that hopeful gift of giving blessing by turning to the words Hashkivenu, asking for God to gently lay us down at night and to lovingly and safely raise us up in the morning to life renewed.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim Ufros aleinu Sukkot Shelomecha ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך והושיענו למען שמך.
The Michamocha was a prayer where we talk about our national freedom. Hashkivenu is asking for our personal freedom. And now with the freedom that we've been given, what do we do with it? We stand in God's presence and we speak what is on our hearts. So we do that now, starting with the words for Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, this beautiful setting by Rabbi Neil Comas Daniels.
May my lips come quietly apart and stir the yearnings of my heart, and in just a whisper may I fold all the moments that are mine to hold. There's a gentle flowing stream within, in its waters all my hopes begin. From the place before my voice is heard, come my dreams expressed without a word. Adonai Sefatai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ofi Agim, Tehilatecha, Adonai Sefatai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ofi Agim, Tehilatecha.
It is my pleasure to call forward Grace Keats to lead us in the Avot and the Givorot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Velohei Avotenu Veimotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak Velohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Velohei Leah Ha'el hagadol hagibor v'hanora El Elyon Gomel hasatim tovim Vekonei hakol Vezoher haste avot v'ima'ot Umevi ge'ula livnei v'nehem Lemon shemo be'ahava Melech hozer umoshia umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atagi bor leolam Adonai Mehaye hakol atah Rav leoshia Morid hatal Mehakel hayim bechesed Mehaye hakol berahamim ramim So mech noflim verofei holim Umatir asirim Umehaye emunato lishanei afar Mihamo habal givurot Umito mela Malach memi Umehaye Umatmi Yeshua V'ne'eman atah lehachayo takol Baruch atah Adonai Mehaye hakol
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please take a few moments for your own personal private prayers.
השיבנו, השיבנו, אדוני אליך, ונשובה, ונשובה, חדש, חדש, ימינו כקדם. השיבנו, השיבנו, אדוני אליך, ונשובה, ונשובה, חדש, חדש, ימינו כקדם.
There are a lot of places that I'd like to visit right now. I suspect you wouldn't mind doing some traveling either, but the places that I've been thinking about lately may seem a little surprising. I'd really like to go to Rome, but I don't want to just go anywhere in Rome. I specifically want to go and visit the Arch of Titus. I was thinking about the Arch of Titus because, as I said, we just passed the 9th day of the month of Av. And it was on the 9th day that our ancient temple in Jerusalem was destroyed twice. Once in 586 BCE, and more recently in the year 70 CE. Now that's the temple. That is the one surrounded by the Western Wall. First, the Roman general Vespasian, and later Titus led the Roman army against the Jewish revolt in the land of Israel, which ended with the temple's destruction and the plundering of its sacred objects. The temple was the place where the Jewish people would come to communicate and commune with God in God's holy house. There was this huge room called the Ulam, and inside it was, among other things, a 7-branched menorah, which symbolized the 7 days of creation. And there was this special table across the room from the menorah where there were these 12 kind of griddle cakes or loaves of bread that we think were stacked in 2 stacks of 6 to make 12. Those probably represented the 12 tribes of the Jewish people, or the 12 months of the year. In other words, the annual cycle crafted by God. The special cakes or the bread were also a means for the Jewish people to share a meal with God by the priests eating the bread on behalf of the rest of the Jewish people. It was important to be able to share meals with God to show our gratitude and love. But all of that ended again in the year 70, when Titus destroyed the temple and carried off the golden menorah and the special table where the 12 loaves were displayed. And the arch that I want to visit, celebrates Titus's defeat over the Jewish people. In fact, on one of the inside walls of the arch, there's a depiction of a procession where they were carrying away the menorah itself. You can see it on the wall. And in front of the procession, they were carrying the table which displayed these loaves. So why would I be so keen to visit this symbol of Jewish exile from our temple? First of all, because I empathize with this moment in our history. I think many of us feel a little like Jews who were exiled by Romans. They could not use the temple to gather and worship, and for the most part, neither can we. But the fact that they suffered back then, and we are suffering in our own way, isn't the most important aspect of these parallel moments in history. For me, there are 2 messages to visiting the arch and to commemorating the 9th of Av. The first reason is that we are here to remember. There's no Roman Empire with the descendants of Titus who feel a personal connection to this arch. It's just one of the many historical sites in Rome, no different than the ancient temples with their many gods that no one cares much about today. But when I go to the Arch of Titus, it's not only with historical dispassion, it's a part of my past and of my present. Because while the Romans were building that arch, the Jews back in Judea were minting special coins. And one of the coins had a picture of the menorah itself, and another coin with the table for the bread. In other words, while the Romans carried off the objects used to connect with God, we carried those images in our pockets and in our hearts. And that is why I'm here to go, why I want to go to the Arch of Titus and to say, you removed our objects, but you didn't remove our commitment to our tradition and our people. What is so remarkable about this story of perseverance and continuity is that coins may have been the technology of our day, but for our part, we are using our technologies to connect each one of us to one another. It's remarkable how Jewish life and our congregational life is continuing to adapt and evolve. We are changing and innovating. I have to say that when the temple was about to be destroyed, Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was very old at the time and was the leader of the rabbinic Jews of the time, he used his own creativity and ingenuity to sneak out of Jerusalem in a coffin so he could reestablish Jewish life. I've been so impressed with our members, both young and old, who have used their ingenuity and perseverance to adopt new technologies that connect us to one another. As much as Tisha B'Av is an observance looking backwards at what was lost, I think it's actually a powerful reminder that whatever challenges that we have now, they are temporary. And that if we remain together and carry our symbols in our pockets and in our hearts, we can all be like Yochanan ben Zakkai. We can all be like men and women who look like we are hidden in our boxes, but we are really alive and eager and planning for our continuity and rejuvenation. The decisions and innovations that Ben Zakkai made are reverberating in Judaism to this day. The fact that we are saying prayers instead of sacrificing animals is due to Yochanan ben Zakkai's leadership. Could he have imagined that the bold decisions he made 1900 plus years ago would still be serving us today? What new bold decisions are there to be made? What reforms will strengthen and embolden our people like Yochanan so many years ago? I want to go to the Arch of Titus and say, take them. Take the menorah and the table and any objects, because we have shown that we are beyond any object. We have learned to transcend our place, if only for the moment. We carry our ideas and our commitments and our beliefs in our pockets and in our hearts, and we are so fortunate to share them with one another. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank you for sharing your passion with us and for helping us to build a new Judaism that will serve us today and for thousands of tomorrows. We now turn to those people who are in need of healing. So if there is someone around you who is in need of healing, even if it's you yourself, I want you to say their names out loud or hold those names in your heart. And let's sing these words together. These words, Mishaberach, asking for God to bring healing to us all. Today we are not only remembering the ancient temples and the other destructions that happened on the 9th of Av, we're also remembering those people who we hold very closely in our hearts, who died at this season or died just recently. So we want to first remember those people whose families are within the Shloshim period, the first 30 days following their death. We remember Harvey Diamond, cousin of Elaine Neiman and Dan Cooperberg, Jerry Lieb, father of Adam Lieb, Mort Saperstein, husband of Elaine, father of Rick and Sherry Starr Weiner, grandfather of Joshua, Kate, Layla, and Rafi. We remember Steve Kurt Rice, son of Tekla Rice, the mother of Deanne Robin, mother of Joy Zubiak, Stacy Sherman DeVries, and Andrew Sherman. We also remember people who died at this season whose families are remembering them for a yahrzeit. Remember Max Beer, father of Barbara Gerson, grandfather of Daniel Gerson, Bessie Braun, mother of Lawrence Braun, Richard James Campbell, grandson of Richard Lapkin, Erwin Cohen, father of Michael Cohen, Tony Cordier, cousin of Pamela Posner, Eleanor Eisen Crystal, grandmother of Alyssa Morton, Louis Glassner, grandfather of Joy Twersky, Carol Green, aunt of Michael Green, Margot Grossman, mother of Bob Grossman, Bert Horowitz, mother of Hal Horowitz, Lars Larson, brother of Eva Larson, Louis Lester, father of Leanne Nemiroff, Frances Lowe, mother-in-law of Maury Cohn, Sophie Maines, aunt of Audrey Benish, Ida Maxick, mother of Michelle Maxick, Louis Maxick, father of Michelle Maxick, Beverly Osen, mother of Jody Binder, Ryan Prisky, son of Brenda Olshever, grandson of Estelle Cates, Peter Reinisch, husband of Erica Reinisch, Keith Richmond, father of Rachel Gordon, Mark Cinderbrand, cousin of Richard Cinderbrand, Myra Singer, aunt of Jeff Wissett, Morris Spritzer, father of Maggie Salfi, Steve Wecker, husband of Charlene Wecker, Stanley Weingrad, father of Stacy Rosenberg, husband of Linda Weingrad. If you are also within the first 11 months of mourning, I would want you to take this opportunity to say out loud or to hold in your hearts the names of your loved one for whom you are still saying Kaddish. We join in our Kaddish together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, be'alma divarach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chaye echon v'yom echon, v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Osei shalom, osei shalom, osei shalom bimroma, osei shalom, osei shalom, osei
I want to wish Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I hope that you will come and join us at our virtual Oneg. You can go to this address to find us there, or you can go to the Temple Adat Elohim website and click on the live stream, and you'll find the link right there. It is so good to spend these days with you, each of these Shabbat. We wish we could be out here in the courtyard with you, but it's so meaningful to us to know that you are there virtually. We'll be seeing you virtually soon, very soon.
עושה שלום במרומיו, לא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, לא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. יאללה יאללה לילה יאללה לילה יאללה לילה לילה יאללה לילה לילה יאללה יאללה לילה יאללה לילה עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. יאללה יאללה לילה יאללה לילה יאללה לילה לילה יאללה לילה לילה יאללה יאללה לילה יאללה לילה יאללה לילה יאללה לילה עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.